Hi, my friends. This week, we're going to be talking all about past lives. We're going to talk about what the concept is, what some of the different schools of thoughts say. I'm going to tell you what I believe and what I don't believe. And we're going to talk about how to know, how to see the signs that you've lived before. We always have. Um, we're gonna talk about how to explore your past lives, things to avoid, everything about past life this week. It's gonna be really, really interesting, okay? All right, so the topic of past lives, also known as reincarnation, has fascinated humans for thousands of years, right? It's a blend of spiritual philosophy and metaphysical theory, cultural traditions, and personal experiences. So here's a comprehensive breakdown. So past life refer to the belief that your soul has lived other lifetimes before, because time is not linear, right? But before your current one. Um, the idea is rooted in the broader concept of reincarnation, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, where the soul evolves, and that's one school of thought, evolves through multiple lifetimes. Okay. And this school of thought that the soul evolves, um, it's been um, it's been going on for a long time, but it was really cemented in our culture by the book Many Lives, Many Masters, which is a fascinating book. But I don't totally agree with that. Okay. So, um, in the Eastern traditions and Hinduism believes in samsara, the cycle of the rebirth, and karma, cause and effect. Actions in one life affect your next incarnation. Okay. In Buddhism, it has very similar ideas, but with an emphasis on releasing attachments to end cycles through enlightenment, which is nirvana, which is called nirvana. All right. Now, in Western views, in ancient Greece, from the age of Plato and Pythagoras, they discuss this soul's rebirth. Okay, this reincarnation. Now, Christians um, believed in reincarnation really early on until it was deemed that it was heretical, right? It was not good. Now, in modern spiritualism and what it's called New Age, we embrace past lives for soul growth, healing, and spiritual evolution. Okay. The purpose of past lives, like I said, some people think that it's because it's a soul evolution. Each lifetime brings lessons and experiences because your soul needs to grow. Because of karmic balancing too, what you set in motion in one lifetime comes back for resolution in another one. For spiritual missions, that you may carry talents or wounds or purposes from a past incarnation to serve a larger plan. And then for healing and for releasing, understanding a past life can help release phobias, patterns, or trauma that can't be explained in this lifetime. Now, why do I believe? What do I believe? I believe all that is true, but not in its entirety. Okay. I don't think that the main purpose for us to come here is to learn a lesson. And I know that is, what everybody says out there. I think we do learn lessons, throughout our lifetimes, right? But the main reason for us to come here is to have the human experience. All right. And this has been told to me by many spirits and my guides. Why is that? Because spirit lives in love, okay? There's no hate, there's no jealousy, so the only way for spirit to experience all kinds of emotions is having a human experience, right? The other thing that spirit don't have is a body, right? So in order to experience a hug, a kiss, hunger, physical pain, a cold, hot, is to have a human experience. All right. So we come here to have a human experience because spirit can do a lot of things. The only thing that they can do is have a human experience. So they come here to have a human experience. All right. And we are here to serve. And how do we serve? By being happy, by following the joy. When you follow your joy, you're going to serve people. When you follow your joy, you're fulfilled as a person. Then you become a better person, a better mom, a better wife, a better husband, a better teacher, a better whatever, you name it, you fill in the blank, okay? So when you follow your joy, when you do what you love, when you do what gives you the most joy, that's how you serve. So we come here to have a human experience, to be happy, and to serve. All right? That's my belief. That we learn? Yes, of course we do. Why not? Of course we learn. But I don't believe that we reincarnate like we're going to school. We go first grade and then second grade, and one day we're gonna graduate and not have to reincarnate, because that is almost like punishment. Like if you don't fulfill whatever is what you were to fulfill in this lifetime, you have to return to fulfill that. No, 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 no. Okay, no. There's karma, of course there is. That we have to pay, yes. That we pay by learning, yes, not by punishment. Because spirit, the universe is not about punishing us. It's about us learning those lessons, okay? So yeah, there you go. That's what I believe. Now, how do we get evidence of reincarnation? It's hard. Well, not so much, but sometimes it is. Children, especially under 6, around the age of 2, 2.5, 3, they start talking. So listen up, okay? Because they start talking about their experiences. They start talking about a different family. They start talking about them being a different person. Maybe they're talking about them being a different gender. So children at that age are still, the veil is still not so thick. And because they're verbal, because a 1-year-old can really talk. And I know some of y'all out there, oh, my baby was fully verbal at 8 months, whatever. Around 2 years old, you are capable of longer sentences, of, being very better understood, right? So, children around that age are able to recall details of past lives. There's a gentleman called Dr. Ian Stevenson from the University of Virginia that has studied thousands of such cases with I know how to say this, verifiable data. And I believe there's a Netflix series about this. Define death, beyond death, something to that effect, that shows some of these children that has been studied by Dr. Stevenson. Of course, you can get a past life regression, a guided hypnosis or meditation techniques to explore former lifetimes. You often can uncover themes, emotions, relationship, or even names and dates. Sometimes in dreams, you can recall past lives. The way that I like, well, of course, with you know, a practitioner. I'm not a hypnotherapist, but I have a lot of friends that are, even some students that are hypnotherapists. And in the private group that I hold weekly, if you're in my program, some of the students are hypnotherapists, and they share their talent with us in the group. You can also do some dream journaling. I'm big about journaling to receive insights. Of course, you can on your own go to the Akashic records if you know how to do that. But one of my favorite ways that I do on my own, that I don't need anybody else, other than meditation and the Akashic records, is using cards. And of course, you can use oracle cards like this. I use this, it's called Life Purpose. And I specifically ask the cards to take me to a different lifetime and tell me what the life purpose of that lifetime was. Or something like this, past life energy, that also, will take you to a past life. But if you are, well-versed in tarot, I like to use those cards, those oracle cards, but also tarot, to pull cards and ask specific questions, like what was the energy, what was the mood, what was the kind of archetype, and using tarot will give me so much more than just an oracle card. And I think the combination of the two is the best option for me that I can get, except of course in under hypnosis, I can get all kinds of details about that. But you have to be very well versed in intuitive tarot, which I do teach. So if you're interested in that, let me know, slide into my DMs and I'll hook you up. You can definitely take that class with me. Of course, you can do with a practitioner, a past life regression, or an Akashic record reader. There's all kinds of people that know how to do this. All right. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in group for the rest of the week, talking about past life.